Hello and welcome to the Flying Spud YouTube channel. In today's video we are going to be looking at the Shorts 330 commuter aircraft by Blackbox simulations for Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is just going to be a basic overview of the aircraft as we take the plane on a short flight from Kahului Airport on Maui Island to Honolulu International Airport in Hawaii. Blackbox Simulations is currently selling multiple versions of the Shorts regional line of aircraft in the Flight Simulator store. They can also be purchased together in a bundle in the premium version. Overall, I like this add-on. There are some things I like about it and things I don't, but overall they are minor. If flying commuter turboprop planes is your thing, then you should definitely give this plane a look. Starting with the exterior model, the plane looks very nice from a 3D model and textures perspective. The plane comes with multiple liveries, including this Hawaiian Air livery, which is perfect for me because Hawaii is my favorite place to fly. That being said, let's jump into the cockpit and begin our flight to Honolulu. First, I'll come to the co-pilot's side and close all the exterior doors with these switches. The plane has multiple doors that can be opened, including a cargo door for cargo versions of the aircraft. Next, I'll switch on the batteries on the overhead panel to supply electrical power to the aircraft. Then I'll come to the co-pilot's side overhead panel and switch on my exterior lights as required. Next, I'll advance the propeller pitch to max RPM. Then engage the boost pumps to prepare for engine start. Once done, I'll engage the starter, then watch the engine gauges for the correct compressor speed. Then you advance the engine condition lever to apply fuel to the engine and light it off. The sounds for the aircraft are okay, though I think the propellers could sound just a bit more meaty. Then I'll repeat the process for the second engine. Overall, it's a fairly simple startup procedure. However, the aircraft doesn't use Flight Simulator's default checklist functionality to help walk you through it, which means you might have to poke around a bit when you first learn the plane. It irritates me when developers don't integrate their add-ons to use the full functionality of the sim. But that's just my opinion. Now to switch on the avionics master and align the GPS. You next have to come down to the center pedestal and deactivate the control gust lock. If you forget to do this, you won't be able to steer with the nose wheel and the control surfaces won't be able to move, which could cause a disaster on takeoff. Now that we are lined up on the runway, we simply apply full power for takeoff. I noticed the plane has very poor pitch authority, so a lot of up trim is required. Now that we've lifted off, I can start to bring in the autopilot. It took me a while to find the nav/GPS switch, which of course was right in front of me the whole time, to make the plane follow my GPS flight plan using lateral navigation mode. The controls for the autopilot are not really ergonomically placed in the cockpit. It turned out to be a very cloudy day today, with clouds as low as 1,200 feet. Not ideal if you wanted to fly VFR. I'll go ahead and climb to 8,000 feet to get above the clouds and establish the plane in a stable cruise. Now that we are at cruise altitude, we can have a look at the cockpit for this aircraft. The textures are sharp and clean looking, which gives the plane a very factory fresh appearance. Some people may like that and some people may not. Since these planes were introduced in the 1980s, I prefer it if it looked more weathered. I also don't like the co-pilot figure visible on the inside, but that's just my opinion. The plane does have a full passenger cabin we can look at. And I have to say it looks pretty decent. But like the cockpit, the passenger cabin has the same flat, plastic-looking and overly simple textures and not a lot of fine detail. Although I do like how the textures on the seats change to match your chosen livery. We can open the door and look at the lav too. There is this weird texturing boo-boo on the ceiling though that I think is supposed to be a speaker, but that just looks like a giant shower head. It's mostly the textures that I have issues with on this add-on. But anyway, let's walk back to the flight deck. I love flying over pretty much any tropical or oceanic location in Flight Simulator. Though I don't think the scenery in Flight Sim can really get the feel right. Even after the world updates and water masks. I'm hoping the better 3D forests coming in Flight Simulator 2024 will make islands look even better. So I guess the Short 330 was a commuter plane built by Short brothers between 1976 and 1992, and they built 141 of them. All its fuel is stored in tanks over the ceiling of the passenger cabin, which doesn't sound safe if you ask me. That's probably why its wings are so slender too. It's powered by PT6 turboprop engines, which I guess is a very common turboprop engine that was also used in the Beechcraft King Air. We're starting to get close to Honolulu, so I can begin to descend to 2,000 feet. I plan on catching the ILS for runway 04 right, but the last time I tried it with a different plane it didn't work correctly. I'll probably just end up hand flying it in. So we're almost on final for runway 04 left at Honolulu International. I'm getting the beam for the ILS on my gauge, but the autopilot isn't picking it up correctly. I'm not sure if it's operator error or a bug with Flight Simulator. It's unfortunate because these are the exact conditions you would need an automatic approach. This definitely isn't VFR anymore. It's times like this when playing flight sim that makes me realize why planning ahead and being trained and prepared is so important when you're a real pilot. Just look at what happened to American Airlines Flight 965. I guess I'll just lean on the GPS to guide me towards the runway. Well, we finally came out of the clouds and I have a visual on the runway. Looks like we have a crosswind judging by that wind sock. Definitely not my best landing. To shut down the engines, we just pull the condition levers all the way back. I'll go ahead and feather the props as well. Now I'll just kill the exterior lights and open the passenger door to deplane my very airsick passengers. And that will be it for today. Well, thanks for coming along with me on this quick look at the short 330 by Blackbox simulations for Microsoft Flight Simulator. If turboprop airliners are your thing, then this should be a good add-on for you to consider. Other than some texture issues, it seems like a pretty decent model from a systems perspective, and it's very engaging and challenging to fly. But anyway, that's going to be it from me today. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you liked what you saw. And I'll see you in the next video.